Okay. All right, you guys. So I'm going to give Kacia the mic here. And hi, Kacia. Thank you so much for doing this. We are so excited to have you. Your podcast has seriously changed my morning. So many of us on here. And we are just so blessed that you took the time to just come on here today and pour into us. So I just want to say thank you. And if you want to take it away, girlfriend, I know whatever you got for us is going to be fun.
Emma, what's up, ladies? Hi, you guys. I am so freaking pumped to be here with you tonight. Thank you guys for those of you in the chat that listen to Empower Her podcast. I'm so excited. Really my goal with tonight is I want to light a little fire under your booty. Okay. So like drop in the chat if you're like, I'm ready. Like it's September 1st, new month, who dis, let's go. Like, I just want to get people pumped because truly like, we don't know how many days we have here and we want to make them count. We want to make this month count. We want to be women who show up unapologetically to chase all of the dreams that we have on our heart, right? And we are the ones that get in our own damn way. So you guys are so fun. I am here for this chat right now and all these flame emojis coming through. Let's go. So I really want to talk to you guys about a couple of different things. Literally, I wrote down 5 words. That's what I have, what I'm working with. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to break down a couple of things that I want to remind you that I remind myself when I feel like I'm feeling stuck or I just need to get out of my own damn way. And I know that I just like, I have these dreams and goals that I'm like working towards. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm so fired up. Like, what the hell do I do? How do I make sure that I stay focused and really intentional about the building blocks that are actually going to get me where I want to go? And truthfully, you guys deserve that, right? You deserve lives that you're obsessed with, and you deserve to take this opportunity that you have right in front of you and run with it, right? And some of you guys are like doing the little toe dip dance thing, right? So we're gonna talk about that. But for those of you that I don't know, my name is Kacia Fitzgerald. I am the host of Empower Her podcast. I'm the founder of She Goes Company, where I help women launch, grow, scale, and monetize their podcast. And then on top of that, my background is actually in network marketing. I earned well over 7 figures in a network marketing business. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because network marketing is what taught me the skills and helped me build the confidence to go do other things in addition too, right? It's such a powerful opportunity that you guys have right here, right now. And I know that you know that. Like fundamentally, you're like, I have changed my life in a certain way. I've met amazing friends here. I've created another stream of income. I've changed the trajectory of my family's future because of this. Like you understand what the opportunity is, but I want to just remind you that what you're doing right now is opening up doors for a future version of you of things that you don't even know yet that you want. Right? The 2014 version of me who started her business, who was like, oh, like, I'm so scared. What are people going to think about me? I like posted on social media. Like, what if my aunt doesn't get it? And Sally 293, like, is like, oh, you suck. Like you have one of those businesses. Oh, you're going to try and sell me something. Like, I remember I was so damn worried about that. But because of working through all of the things that you get to work through, building a business like this, you become a better human being, right? Drop in the chat if you're a better human than when you first started. Right? Just as a human. I'm not even talking about what you've done in your business or milestones that you've achieved. That's amazing. But I'm just talking about who you are as a person, right? So we're going to talk about that. Number 1, I want to get on the same page here about calling your actual shot. Okay. Because some of you are doing this thing where you're like, I have this fun little side thing. It's not that important to me. Right? Like, oh, like, it's not that big of a deal. Right. And you pretend, because I'm not sure why you're doing it. Everybody's got a different reason, right? But you pretend like you don't care about this thing that has you on a live call on a Wednesday night ready to go, or watching this recording because you're prioritizing it. You're showing that by being here, you care about your business, you care about your growth, right? But you're telling people that this business is not important to you, or you're acting like it doesn't matter to you. Some of you guys just need the reminder to actually just call your shot and say, you know what, this actually matters to me. Like, this is not just like a cute little fun side thing. So often as women, we do that. It's like, oh, it's just this little thing. Like, this thing has the potential to change the trajectory of your life. Not everybody has those goals, and I want you to honor the goals that feel right for you. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But I do want you just to remember how much opportunity is right in front of you, but you don't want to be self-sabotaging because you're teaching people how to treat you in your life with how you show up, and then with your business, right? If you're treating this like this thing that you're like, oh, it's just this little thing, like, I don't really care about it, and you're embarrassed about it. In fact, you're making impact on the lives of other people, and you're embarrassed about the impact that you're making. Remind yourself that people are going to act in accordance to what you teach them is appropriate for how they talk to you about this. If you pretend like it's not a big deal, they're probably going to act like it's not a big deal, right? And when we call our shot, some of you right now are going to be like, I don't even know who this Kacia girl is. Like, she's got a podcast. She's really pumped. She seems like she like drank a bunch of like, I don't know, like pre-workout before she jumped on. Like I did it. I'm just like, this is how I am in the morning. But you might remember this, and this might be the only thing that you take away, which is simply that some of you right now, you need to have a real, and you know what it is, a real conversation with your significant other, with your best friend, with your sister, with your mom about why this business actually matters to you. And I'm not saying like, tell them everything and expect that they're fully going to support it. I'm saying it's your radical responsibility that you need to own to say, this matters to me. I want to call my shot because I want to see what I can do with this. I don't want to look back with coulda, woulda, shouldas, wondering what if would have happened if I cannonballed in instead of done this little like, you know, if you put like one, can I say ass on here, Emma? Can I say ass? I said it 3 times now. Okay. Sorry if you have kids in the background. They're going to hear it on the playground later, you guys. You know they are. Okay. So I want some of you guys that are currently half-assing and having these like kind of conversations with the people that really matter to you. I just want to challenge you to actually call your shot and full ass. Can we just like drop in the chat if you're ready to like full ass here and just start to crank it up a notch, understanding that your goals don't have to look like someone that you met in this business that's now one of your great friends or the person that signed you up in this business. You've got to call your shot with what matters to you. And then you've got to be unapologetic about telling other people about why this matters to you, not because they have to believe in you in order for you to chase your dreams. It's your job to believe in yourself. Number one, it's your job. If other people do, great. That's amazing. That's just icing on the cake. But if you are gifted the vision, if you guys do listen to the podcast, I've said this before because I say this to myself every damn day. If you are gifted the vision, you are also gifted the ability to figure out any how along the way. If your why is strong enough, the how is just going to get figured out. But we get so caught up in these like mechanisms of like, I need to know this and I need to know this. You just need to know why this actually matters to you. And then you need to be brave enough to take 5 seconds and freaking call your shot or have that real talk conversation and stop pretending like it doesn't matter to you. You deserve it. You deserve to get the full fulfillment that can come from really giving it your all and whatever that looks like based off of your goals. Right? So when you call your shot, I want to encourage you to think like, who's actually holding you accountable to this? Because this is the type of business where like, nobody's going to fire you if you don't show up. Nobody's going to come to your house and be like, hey, you didn't hit your goals this month. Like you're out, right? Nobody's doing that. But in your corporate job, how many of you guys drop in the chat or actually raise your hand if you work a full-time corporate job and you build this business on the side, right? A lot of people. Okay. So if you don't show up for your corporate job, your cute butt is getting fired. You just got to do it, but nobody's going to make you show up for this. So how are you going to get more skin in the game? What really works for me when I think about the necessity of calling my shot on whatever my goals are, is I have to play out this concept called benefit extension, meaning who else is going to benefit as a byproduct of me full assing? And who's going to be hindered if I don't? Who's going to be negatively impacted if I don't, right? Because you know how big your dreams are with this business, with your life, with other goals that you have, you know, intuitively. Maybe you haven't been bold enough to say it out loud because if you do, it makes you want to pee your pants or like poop your pants. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I can't even believe my dreams are so big. Like, holy crap, I'm not the person that can handle it. Duh. I'm not the person that can handle my dreams yet. I'm not qualified for my dreams yet. I'm qualifying myself in the process. That's what we do here, ladies, right? So how important is it for you to start to raise the necessity to want to think about who is going to benefit if you go for this? I'm talking people that you love in your life. What type of options and opportunities could be presented to these people if you show up for this business and build out another stream of income, right? How are they going to feel if they have a mom or a sister or a wife or a friend who is just going for it, right? Maybe they don't want to do what you're doing, right? Your friends, your family, maybe they don't want to do what you're doing. That's totally cool. Everybody is gifted different visions, totally cool. But they get to see an example of someone who's choosing to show up and go for it. How are people in your life that you love going to benefit as a byproduct from you doing this? And some of us are really motivated more by pain than pleasure. So go to the pain side. What's the repercussions if you don't? And if you have to live with this coulda, woulda, shoulda, wonder what would have happened if I actually gave it my all. Who else is going to negatively be impacted? What options will you not have? Right? Like we have to think about opportunity cost. You've got opportunity. What's the cost if you don't go for it? Right? And go for it does look different for every single person. So I'm going to challenge you. We're going to talk about this a little bit because I think this is really important of knowing what your own goals are, but truly asking yourself, do I need to call my shot? Does that look like me shooting for that next goal that I know scares me and that I know I'm not qualified for, and reminding myself, duh, that's what the whole journey is about. When it's hard and you doubt yourself and you have those like ugly cries where you're on your bathroom floor and you're like snot and mascara and it's like, man, like getting all up in your mouth and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Good. That's the rite of passage, because when you get where you want to go, you look back at the path that you took towards getting there and you're like, shit, I blew my freaking mind. Look how strong I am because of this. The grit and the resilience and the character, that's not built when it's rainbows, butterflies, happy little unicorns crushing all your sales goals. It's built when it's hard and you keep showing up. It's built when you doubt yourself and you're like, can I actually do this? And you don't believe that you can, but you still show up anyway to prove to yourself that you're much more capable than you give yourself credit for. But it starts with actually calling your shot, right? Thinking about who else is going to be impacted. We're not even talking about the world at large. We're just talking about even your circle, your immediate family, your friends, the people that you love, right? Number 2, micro focus, macro vision. Okay. This is how many of you guys feel like you are really far from where you want to be goals wise? Drop in the chat. Like, I am so far from where I want to be. When I look at the distance between where I am now and where I want to go, it is just like, how am I going to get there? How many of you guys feel that way? So far. Yes. Oh my, you guys give it up for you guys. Your chat is just fire. I feel it. You guys, I'm an extrovert, so this is like giving me life. Okay. Here's the thing. I want you guys to really think about the fact that yes, you may be really, really far from where you want to go. And to those people that are dropping that in the chat right now, oh girl, you gotta mute yourself. If you just jumped on, you gotta mute yourself, because then it's awkward. And then like we hear what you're saying, and then everyone's like, oh, that was unmuted. That's you. Anyway, okay. So basically, really thinking about that, right? Thinking about if you have a long way to go from where you are now, I want to first and foremost applaud you because you're thinking big, right? You're thinking big. So be proud of yourself if you're like, holy crap, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I'm proud of you for expanding your mind enough to dream big, because there are a lot of people that don't dream big, right? You're gifting yourself even just the vision. So you're on the right track. Now, here's what I want to remind you. There is always, especially for ambitious, go-getter, impact-driven women like all of you are, which if you don't care about helping people, I don't want to like be rude, but you should probably quit, because this would not be the right business for you if you don't care about helping people. Okay. Truthfully, you do have a big distance between where you are now and where you want to go. And you see your potential, and deep down inside, even if you doubt yourself, because we all do as humans, you still know in your gut, you're like, but I think I got more in the tank. Right. And if that's you, some of you, like you were like, Kacia, do you have cameras in my house? I do. Okay. I got cameras in your house, but truly, I think it's really important to recognize that you need the space between where you are now and where you want to go. That is the time where you get to put in the reps to qualify yourself. So when you get where you want to go, you can actually handle it. Have you ever thought about that way? I don't want you to get where I don't want you to have this team of 1,000 people. You're like, this is my dream. This is my goal. Amazing. I want you to know where you're going. I want you to have this macro vision, but I want you to understand that in this Amazon Prime instant gratification culture, we want it yesterday, but you can't handle it yesterday. And that's not because you're not capable or that you're not worthy or that you won't get there. It's because you need the time to put the reps in. The dreams and goals and visions that I have, like I am not the woman that can handle it yet. And it's funny because I work with a lot of podcasters, right? Women that are launching podcasts and women that are growing and scaling their existing podcasts. I was on a call with some of them and I was like, how many of you guys would love to have 1 million downloads of your podcast this month? And the entire chat was like, just how you guys are, just like so hyped. They're like, yeah, Kish, let's go. Like they're so freaking pumped. And I was like, really? Do you have the confidence in yourself right now to be able to handle 1 million people listening to you? Because I'm a pretty confident person, but I don't have that confidence yet that I can stay true to who I am with that many eyes on me yet. I don't have that confidence yet. Not that I won't get there, not that I don't want that, but I don't want it yet. I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have the support. I don't have the team. I don't know where to direct those people so they can have a good experience working with me. So in pursuit of where you want to go, have that macro vision that you're excited about, that makes you just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I'm getting there. Label that space something that actually serves you, girl, right? If right now you're labeling the space between where you are now and where you want to go, and you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. And then you're looking around and you're like, oh, she got there faster. And like, oh, I'm so frustrated because like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, should I just give up? I'm not making as much progress as I wanted to be making. Like, oh, I'm so far, quote unquote, behind according to whose damn timeline? What? There's 7 billion of us here. How in the world are we going to do things at the same time? Right? So I challenge you, if you are in that season, which it sounds like a lot of you guys are, check in on that label between that space between where you are now and where you want to go, and make sure that you're saying, damn, I can't wait to see how far I go. I can't wait to see how good I get. I can't wait to see the impact that I make. I can't wait to see how many lives I change. I can't wait to see how this changes the trajectory of my family. What kind of a person am I going to become in pursuit of that goal? Instead of just wishing that you were there because you can't handle it yet. Not because you can't ever, not because you're not capable, but because you're not supposed to be there yet. You need this stage in between. We got to savor that stage too, while in pursuit, which is why I talk about this concept in my own head every day. And with all of my girlfriends and anyone that will talk to me about this, is this concept of micro focus and macro vision. So all of you big dreamers, like, you're right on track. You already got that macro vision where you're like, I am not yet the person that can handle that. Great. Amazing. For those of you that aren't letting yourself dream big enough, we're going to open you up a little bit tonight. Okay. Because we need to have that macro vision that we're scared to say out loud because it sounds crazy. I want every single one of you on this call to have a dream and vision for your life, not just in your business, but for your life and how your business can contribute to that vision that makes you scared to say out loud because you literally are like, I don't even know how this could happen. I literally have no tools in my toolbox for this. Like, I have no idea. I want you to have that type of macro vision, because what we're going to do as you go through life as an entrepreneur and as building businesses and as such ambitious, go-getter, impact-driven women, you're going to have to know, number one, how do I stay micro focused with that macro vision? So I'm dancing this dance in between. And when I say that, I mean, I want you guys to be so damn intentional. How many of you guys, drop in the chat, are responsible for keeping tiny humans alive? I literally, let's see, KK's got one on her lap. Autumn's got one on her lap. Like, you guys are like, a lot of you guys are Morgan's like, I'm here. My son's here too. Whatever. I'm ready to rock. Right. 2, 3. Okay. You guys are busy. Like, I have a dog and I'm like, do you need a poop? Because I'm kind of busy, girl. Like, can you go outside? What can we do? Right. So all of you, as first and foremost, you guys are literally unicorns. You're my idols. Like, moms are just amazing. But I want to remind you that every season that you're in, as someone who's not a parent, I'm never going to tell you that I have parenting advice. Like, when I get there, I'm going to come to you guys and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Someone help me. There's milk coming out of my nipple and like something is weird happening down south. Okay. I don't know. But truthfully, I want you guys to recognize that in every different season of your life, take parenting, for example, your life is going to look different. Right? Take a curveball. For those of you that I'm connected with on social media or through the podcast, you might know that 3 months ago, my fiance lost his dad to cancer, and it was a curveball, and it was so hard and such a tough season for us. And I had to get really damn intentional in that exact moment of saying, hold on, in this season, the criteria that I had for success is no longer applicable, right? Because one day before we got a phone call that we had to leave from Austin, Texas, where we live, to go up to Seattle and be with his dad for the last 9 weeks of his life. I was able to I could do 6 podcast interviews. I could be on calls. I could be this type of energy all freaking day long. When that happened, I had to look at what is my micro focus, as in, what do I need to do today to win the day? And the criteria was, do the best that I possibly can for the things that I'm committed to, drink some water, and try and move my body. That was my success criteria. My success criteria the day before was like, crush all these things, right? So what is your micro focus? What are the tiny little things that you need to do in this season? I don't care what you did last week. I don't care what you did when you had 2 kids. I don't care what you did when you were pregnant. And now you have like a newborn that's literally not, you're like, I'm not even sleeping. Where am I? What day is it? What country am I in? Right? Like, some of you are in that season right now, but you're comparing yourself to a different season and giving the same criteria. Is that fair? Is that kind? Is that how you would want your daughter, your best friend, your sister to show up? And you want them to give themselves radical grace and compassion, but but you're not doing it for yourself, right? So when I say micro focus and macro vision, I mean, I want you to know in this season, which honestly, for some of you that are struggling with anxiety and you're struggling with a lot, or you've got a lot on your plate, you've got a lot of things going on behind closed doors that people don't even know about. Some of you are really struggling and you're putting on a happy face. And I applaud you for trying, but I also want to just remind you that you're human. Okay. So it's okay. So what I want you to do is think, what do I need to do today to win the day? Your goal is not to get to that macro vision tomorrow. Your goal is to stack the wins. And know that sometimes Wednesday might look a lot different than Thursday. If you're in a season right now where you've got a lot of turbulence happening, you've got to give yourself a layup. Micro focus. What do I need to do today to win the day? Stack those wins. That's going to help you build confidence. For those of you that have felt like you're kind of stuck, or you feel like you got off track, or you feel like you're trying to restart, like especially in a business like this, like sometimes it's like you're driving your business, you're building your business like you're driving a stick shift car up a hill. We're like, I'm all in. And you're like, wow. And then all of a sudden you're like gear shift, like, oh my gosh. And then you like kill the clutch. And you're like, I got to pull over, right? Like that. Some of you guys are doing that. And then you're getting frustrated. You're trying to go right back to full speed, but you're in a different season. So I want you to win and I want you to feel that momentum and build up that confidence. And it's going to come from micro focus. What do I need to do to win the day? Stack those wins. Label the space between where I am now and where I want to go with something that actually serves me, and understand that for the rest of your life in this type of environment where you're building a business, you're trying to make an impact, you're trying to change the world, you're trying to leave your mark, which all of you care about doing in different ways, in different capacities. This is your forever dance. It's between that micro focus and that macro vision, and you're dancing. And sometimes it's so uncomfortable. Sometimes you're like, I can't do this. Good. That's a growth opportunity. How can you grow through what you go through? Sometimes you are going to feel like you are unstoppable, right? And you guys know, sometimes you're like, I can do anything. Like, come on, like bring on the next thing. I am freaking Wonder Woman. Like, watch out. Here we go. And then a curveball comes in and you're like, I suck. I should quit. I'm not capable of doing this. Like, I'm just typing it. I'm going to quit right now. I'm done. I'm done. And those things can happen like in the same hour, right? That's the reality of it. So how are you going to stay focused? You're going to be intentional about that space, and you're going to be intentional about how you're labeling it, because you deserve to label it something that actually serves you, right? Because we know we just are the stories that we tell ourselves, right? The story that you're telling yourself about your business and about your life right now is absolutely true, because your brain is wired to look for evidence to support what you believe to be true, right? I know that we know this, especially for those of you guys that are like, I listened to a Power Her podcast. I've heard this before. I want to remind you this, girl. You are the narrator of your own life. You're the executive producer of what's happening. You're the star of your own show. You're writing the script here, right? That was a weird analogy. That just came out of I don't even know, right? But truly, I want to remind you of that, because if the story that you're telling yourself about your business is, I suck, why is no one signing up for this? Like, okay, new month, it's September 1st, but like, I already know I'm going to have the same thing that happened in August. Anyone brave enough to drop in the chat if they're telling themselves that story? Like, August didn't work out the way that I wanted. Like, I'm trying to get hyped about September, but underneath you've got this feeling of like, but can I actually do it? Like, is it stupid for me to set this goal? Because this actually even going to like turn into anything? Should I just give up? Right? A lot of you guys, thank you for being so honest. I appreciate that. But truly, we've got to catch that narrative. If that's the story that you're coming into September with, if that's the story that I don't care what anyone that watches this recording, it's not September 1st. What is the story that you're telling yourself about your business? That you're learning, that you're growing, that you're evolving, that you're gaining skills that are going to serve you in other aspects of your life too. Because I know for me, what gave me the confidence to then go do a podcast and speak on massive stages and get to have lots of opportunities in my career is not because I arrived there. It's because I cried the first time I posted a picture on Instagram because I was so damn concerned with what everybody thought of me, right? It comes when you miss those big things and you're like, oh my God, how did this happen? And you got to dust yourself up on the ground and get back into it. You have to. You have no other option, because that's the path that's required. So be careful about the stories that you're telling yourself about your business, because your brain is collecting evidence to prove that to be true. If you're asking why you suck, you're going to find a lot of reasons that you suck. But you can also ask, how am I doing a good job? How am I doing my best? How am I showing up? Right? You're going to find evidence to support that to be true too. So just make sure that you're conscious of those narratives. Same rules apply to marriage, right? Same rules apply to relationships with anyone. I've been with my fiance for 12 and a half years. I can easily find things that he does to annoy me. You know what I mean? Okay. But why would I tell myself the narrative like, oh my gosh, he's so annoying. He's so frustrating. Because my brain's going to look for what are all the things that he did today that were annoying? I can find a lot of them. He could definitely find that about me too. I'm much more annoying than him. But truly, why wouldn't I go into the day with the intention of like, gosh, I get to marry my best friend. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for this relationship. I'm so grateful that this is who I get to do life with for the rest of my life until I'm like 95, like twerking in my wheelchair. Like I can't wait. Right. So be cautious of those stories. I know that's a random tangent, but I just think it's really important because sometimes we do that in our relationships. Like, oh, my mom's so annoying. She's calling. And then you talk to her in that way where you're like, oh, what do you need, mom? Right. And then you expect that she's going to be like, hi, honey, I just wanted to talk to you about your day. But instead she's like, what's wrong? Right. And then you're annoyed that she's asking, well, you set yourself up for that, girl. Right. We all do that. So check in on those stories. Number 3, consistency. How many of you drop in the chat struggle with consistency where you're like, yeah, like I know it's important. I know the consistency is the secret sauce. I know that I need to keep showing up, but like life, right? But my in-laws were in town. But my kid got sick. But like this happened, right? It's hard, right? It's hard. One of the things that I do that helps me be consistent is I don't intentionally overwhelm myself. Because how many of you guys, so many of you guys are like talking about consistency. Okay, let's go. I love this. How many of you guys start your day with a to-do list that you literally could not physically ever actually accomplish in one day? Drop in the chat. Like I talk to so many of my girlfriends do this where like they have this to-do list of 25 things. And I'm like, do you have a team? Like who's doing it? Like how, like there is not enough hours in the day. Like you can't even pee. Like what are you doing? Like how are you going to do all that? And then you start your day. Yes. So many of you guys are like guilty. Yes. You start your day with this massive to-do list and then you wake and then you go to bed, you put your head on the pillow at night and you're like, ugh, I didn't get anything done. Ugh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so far from where I need to be. What about if you want to be consistent? What if you decide what you're going to be consistent at and what you're willing to drop, right? Because like your life is like a pizza pie. Okay. If you don't like pizza, I don't know. I don't know what to do with you. Okay. But like your life's a pizza pie. There's different slices that make a different component. Some of you guys are new to this business. Some of you guys are new to the level at which you want to achieve in this business. Some of you are new to like cranking it up a notch. So like there's a different amount of a pizza slice that's going to be needed for this business. When something gives, and I know that you know this, but like when something gives, something has to, where is this coming from? Where is this time coming from? Or are you trying to say that I'll just be so busy because in our society, busy is worn like a badge of honor. How you doing? Oh, I'm busy. Great. Anything else? Like what else is going on, Sarah? Like seriously, right? Like what else is going on? So remind yourself that if you are setting yourself up to fail every single day, you're eventually going to feel like you're failing. You can't repeat that pattern multiple times, day after day after day. So taking inventory of your calendar, what are the things that you're saying yes to because you think that the story that you've created in your head is someone won't like you if you don't say yes? What's the story that you're creating in your head of you can't outsource this because that means that you're not a good woman or something, right? What are these narratives? We need to check in on these narratives because as women that are impact driven, that want to show up for our families and our friends and our businesses and our missions here on this planet. And we just want to like, I don't know, take a second and watch Netflix if we need to for a second, right? As women that have all of these things that we want to do, something has to give. I do not want you to get burnt out. So when we're thinking about consistency, I want to challenge you first to set yourself up for success, small, manageable things that you can actually do, because I like to think of the foundation of entrepreneurship, especially in a business like this where we often struggle with comparison, which yes, we're going to talk about for sure. But in a business like this, the foundation is actually confidence, because there are going to be people that are going to be like, oh, you have one of those businesses. Oh, you do this. And you're going to have to be confident enough in what you have to offer and what you bring to the table and the impact that you want to make and the lives that you want to change, that when someone says that, it's not that you're like, I don't care what people think. It's just, you care what you think most, right? That comes from a basis of confidence. And I like to think of confidence like a bucket. Okay. So you got this bucket. Every single time that you show up and keep a promise to yourself, every single time that you do the thing that you said that you're going to do after the feeling that you said it and is gone, it's like you're putting a little deposit into your bucket, like plop, plop, plop. You're just filling up your bucket, right? That's the goal with consistency. A lot of us try to be consistent at everything. A lot of us try and be consistent at a list that is literally unattainable on a day-to-day basis. Pick 3 tiny little things that are manageable, that are going to move the needle forward. I'm not talking about business-related activities. I'm talking about business building activities. Business related is like scrolling to see what that other person who you admire in the business has done and like what she posted in her reel and all this stuff. That's great. When you're done with the stuff that's actually going to make a difference, right? We got to think about that. Okay. So truly, what are the things that you can do on a day-to-day basis to continuously build up your confidence? That is the number one goal in a business like this. This is why I loved building a business like this. I had so much fun and so much fulfillment and built a massive team and had so many opportunities come from it, is because I was like, I am not going to be the best at this, but I'm going to be really consistent because I'm going to pick things that I can use to help myself build confidence so that when I doubt myself, I'm still going to keep showing up. When life feels crazy, when I have to transport our life up to, Seattle for 9 weeks unexpectedly and be with someone who is on their last 9 weeks of their life, I can still show up for my podcast. Like I didn't miss anything. Right. And it's not because I felt obligated to, it's because I wanted to, because I was able to manage and change my criteria on a day-to-day basis. So I felt like I was making progress and I still got to honor the other things that were important to me and needed to be higher priority at that time. Right. So some of us just need to give ourselves a little grace, and we struggle with consistency because we just are trying to be consistent, not too much. Right. So pick what those things are. Pick the things that you're willing to drop. And then when you start to get that momentum, protect that at all costs, right? Which means you might have to start asking for help, right? Drop in the chat if you struggle with asking for help, because you're telling yourself the story that if I ask for help, I look weak. What is that? Why do we do that, right? You guys, for anyone watching this recording, this is what the chat looks like. Pew, 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 right? Like literally, you guys, we struggle with asking for help because we're telling ourselves a story that it means that we're not capable or we're not worthy. Here's another question for you guys. Drop in the chat if you get joy and fulfillment out of helping someone else. Drop in the chat. Yeah. So for those of you that are on the recording, it goes like this. Pew, 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 pew. How interesting is it that there is someone in your life right now that if you asked would love to help you, and she or he would gain fulfillment and joy from helping you, but you're robbing them of fulfillment and joy because you won't ask, because your ego is the problem. Ooh, she said, what? She said, ask, she said, shit, what is she talking about? Yeah, right? It's like so many of you guys are like, yeah, like my in-laws, like she always wants to watch my kids. I don't know anything about kids, but like I'm giving them to my in-laws. If someone's like, oh, you need to bake cookies for the bake sale, I'm not baking cookies. I'm buying the cookies unapologetically. I'm buying the cookies. I don't care. Right? So you get to create what that narrative looks like in your life. But I challenge you to really think about that, because so many of us are trying to take it all on. We're thinking that makes us worthy. You're worthy because you exist. I don't care what you achieve in your business. I truly don't. I care that you feel happy about the person that you're becoming as you go through your day-to-day life. I care that you're setting yourself up to grow, because as humans, we love progress. We love growth. Think how stagnant and stuck that feeling is. Just like, you can feel it in your body. And some of you right now have a gut feeling that you want more in this exact business and in your own damn life. And you're shoving it down because as humans, we also crave certainty. And even if you're not happy with where you're at right now, it's familiar. And our brains are wired to want familiar. And here's the thing, change, even if it's in the right direction, growth, progress, that also means loss, which also means grief. Grieving the loss of the familiar, of how uncomfortable you felt shoving down your potential, pretending like you were okay when you're not really okay. When you decide to make a change, to level up in your business, to finally ask for help, to have that important conversation, to call your freaking shot, to own how much capable, like just how worthy and capable you are, like to actually own it and step into it, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. And some of you are starting to tiptoe out of that discomfort that you're shoving down. You're starting to tiptoe into feeling uncomfortable and wanting to grow and evolve. And you know what's happening? it feels so unfamiliar that you're deciding that it means it's wrong. No, that's part of the path, girl. That's when you get to look back and you go, damn, look how far I come, because you're the only one that knows how much inner work and how much pep talks you had to give to yourself to move through this. You're the only one that knows, right? You're the only one that's going to be with yourself for every single day, for every single moment until you die. You're the only one that's guaranteed. So like, let's make sure that the thoughts that you're thinking are actually serving you and that your head is a great place for you to live. But also let's just be cautious of how we're choosing to show up and what we're choosing to ask for help in, because you don't have to get yourself burned out. Because here's the thing, let's play out the burnout. Who's going to be negatively impacted if you burn out? If you can't do it anymore? It's not just you and your dreams. It's the women out there who are waiting for someone exactly like you with your exact situations. Oh, I'm an introvert, Kacia. I can't do this bullshit. This business is so awesome for introverts because you're literally behind your phone and on your computer. That's great, right? So many of you guys are telling yourself that story, right? You're saying like, I'm not capable or I'm not worthy. And you're self-sabotaging unintentionally. And you're saying you don't want to ask for help because you don't think that that means that you deserve what you're building. But you're robbing other people, and you're robbing other people that need to hear from you, right? It's not fair to them. It's not fair to you, but it's not fair to them too, right? Number 4, let's talk about other people real quick. Comparison. Drop in the chat if you struggle with comparison, comparing yourself to everybody else. Sharon, no offense if there's a Sharon, I just picked Sharon. Okay, let's pick Sally Sue. Sally Sue on Instagram. She's got her off the shoulder sweater. Her hair, she clearly got a blowout. She's probably got extensions in. Her eyelashes are like, I don't even know how they're that long. Her pores are like gone, right? Because she face tuned them off. And she's talking about her perfect marriage and her $1 million business and her perfect bud and her amazing braid, whatever, right? She's talking about all these things. And you're sitting there, you just got into a fight with your significant other. You've got no bra on. Your baby puked on you or you spilled salsa all over your white shirt, which I literally almost did right before this call. Okay. And you're just like, ugh, like, why is she killing it? And why am I like this? And you're forgetting that literally she probably took 800 pictures to get that picture. And then she literally untuned her pores. Like, she don't look like that. She untuned those. I don't even know how she did that, but she did it. Okay. And we're comparing our behind the scenes messy bun, no makeup, no bra, feeling like Hot Mess Express to somebody else's carefully curated content on Instagram. So we got to just check in with ourselves. Like, I know that we know that fundamentally, but we have to remind ourselves that when we're scrolling, what we're seeing is not real, right? We're not seeing the reality. We're seeing multiple pictures that aren't shown. Even the people that are like vulnerable post or real moment, they still pick the best picture to show that, right? We know that. Okay. So be cautious. And number 1 of comparison is to really also think about, there's this narrative, and that, I mean, maybe you guys notice this on social media, you hear it a lot on podcasts, that's don't worry about what other people think. Blinders on, screw the naysayers, like focus on only what you like, you do you, screw everybody else. That sounds good, but we have to remember, as humans, we are designed to want to belong in community. I don't really think that there's a person that doesn't care what anyone thinks unless they're like a sociopath or like a 2-year-old, right? Like truly, right? Like we don't like truly. So why is that the goal? And then why do we beat ourselves up if we do compare? When that's a very natural human thing to do. We can use comparison to serve us, but we have to have the framework, right? Which is, we have to know what we actually want. Because when you know what you want and you can stand your own ground, like we talked about at the beginning, like calling your shot, like when you know what you want, you are not as concerned with what other people's paths are, right? It's never the happy people that are coming at you with the negative, weird comments. It's never those girls that are leaving, like bad reviews on my podcast. It's happy people don't do that. People that are secure and confident with themselves and their path, they're not naysaying another person's path, right? It's the people that are hurting. Like you've heard the quote, hurt people, right? And we struggle with this comparison so often because we don't take the time to step back and say, do I actually want what I'm working towards? Are the goals that you actually have right now in your life, are those your goals? Are they the things that you think that you should want? Did somebody else tell you should want that? Did society tell that you should want that? Did this business tell you that you should want that? Or do you want that? You got to know why you want that, right? Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself numbing scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to somebody else, thinking that she has something that you don't, that she's got magical unicorn dust in her veins. And you're over here just like, ugh. All that time that you're spending looking at her, building her business, she's building her business and you're watching. And then you're wondering why you're not as far along as her. And I mean that with so much kindness in my heart, but you don't do that when you know what you want. Because when you're crystal clear on what you want, you're not worried about what other people are doing. And it's not because you don't care what people think. You just care what you think most. You just care about your goals because you're thinking about other people that are going to benefit as a byproduct. You're thinking about who's going to be negatively impacted if you don't. You know what you actually want, right? And with that, when you're comparing yourself, it's a powerful lens that you can actually use to serve you. So I have interviewed a lot of women on my podcast. A lot of them are authors, and I definitely want to write a book one day. Not in this season. It's not a fear problem. It's just like, I don't want to do it right now. Okay. And I'm so inspired by women that have put their message out into the world and written books. Whenever I'm traveling and in the airport in Hudson News, I will literally, like Hudson News is like the little bookstore in there. I will go in there and I will find anyone that's been on my podcast. I will physically hold up their book. I will clap for them. Like if I ever see any of you guys in an airport, you're gonna see me doing this. You're like, what? Serious? Yeah, I literally do this. Okay. I will clap for them and I will actually just take a moment to have utter gratitude for someone who's done something that I want to do that went before me. That's proof of what's possible for me too. And then if I know them, I'll text them pictures. I saw your book. Like I take a selfie with them, like, or like post it on Instagram, like, like I saw your book, right? It's so powerful when you look at other women, when you do find yourself comparing and you see them as proof of what's possible. If she can do it, why the hell can't you? Your path won't look the same because nobody is the same, right? And you don't know what's going on behind closed doors for her, just like she doesn't know for you. Personalities are different, strengths, weaknesses. We're all born with different strengths and weaknesses. If you guys were like, hey, Kacia, here's a tech situation, figure this out. I'd be like, phone a friend. I don't know. Like, that's not my skill set, right? But if you're like, talk to these people and have 5 words written down, yeah, I'm good. Great. Okay. So the point is, we look at other people, we have to remind ourselves that they are living, breathing proof of what's possible for you. And that the way that you're showing up is living, breathing proof of what's possible for her. The woman who's a couple steps behind you, the woman who's creeping on your Instagram stories, the one who won't follow you because she's afraid that if she follows you, then you're going to reach out to her and she is not ready to hear about this business. She's like, oh no, right? But you're telling yourself this story of like, oh, that girl's so inspirational. Look what she's got. And someone's literally looking at you thinking the exact same thing. But you're forgetting that because you're so focused on her. Know what you want and use her as evidence, a proof of what's possible for you. And then remember that you are that evidence for someone else. So if you stop showing up to chase your dreams, you're robbing yourself. You're robbing the people that are going to benefit as a byproduct or be hurt if you don't. And you're robbing the other person who needs your example, just like you need that person's example as fuel of what's possible, right? Powerful, right? Drop in the chat if you're like, oh, yeah, I feel that. Okay. Because I just, that is one of the biggest fuel sources for me. People ask me, like, especially when we were going through this tough season, and they're like, how are you showing up consistently? And I'm like, it's therapeutic for me because I feel like if I'm gifted this vision of my, like on my heart to make an impact in the world and to help women, just women that have that gut feeling that they want more, get out of their own damn way. If I'm gifted that vision, it's my responsibility to use the gifts that I was given. And that's my gift back to the world. Right. And all of us have different gifts. And I don't want to rob someone else that might be creeping on me watching of what's possible. Right. On top of that, when we think about comparison, I do also want to just remind you, and we know this, but from a mental health perspective, we've got to have boundaries. You can build a ridiculously successful business on social media and have times that you are not within an arm's length distance of your phone. You do not have to document everything. You can document and put your phone away. You can have boundaries. You can do it. I think I've earned maybe $3 million in network marketing, something around there. You can do it. You can do it. But you have to set your own boundaries, right? You have to know that you have got strict boundaries of when you're on and when you're off. And it feels really good when you've got those pockets of time because we know that it takes us the amount of time that we give to do something, right? At least for me, my fiance will be like, Kacia, we have to leave in 15 minutes. I'm like, great, get ready. He's like, we're going to leave in an hour. Great, get ready. Do. Taylor Swift song, listen to a podcast, like floss my teeth slowly. Like what? It takes me the same amount of time. You guys, I swear to you, I look exactly the same if I have 15 minutes or an hour. I don't know how to contour. I don't know how to do anything. Like, I don't know how to do all this stuff. Like some of you guys, like you guys know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. That's okay. It takes me the same amount of time. So we've got to be conscious about that. The pockets of time that we're actually giving to things, right? And remind ourselves of that. When we often catastrophize and we think that we're so far from where we want to go, and we think that she's got something that we don't, we got to have boundaries. We've got to stop catastrophizing. We've got to get really damn intentional about the way that we're showing up, because other people are going to benefit if we do. And that matters. And you just get to feel the fulfillment that comes from like doing the thing that was on your heart, right? And along the way, I want you to ask yourself some really damn good questions. Like we talked about with the stories that you're telling yourself, like the narratives in your head, what you're telling yourself about how you are as a human, as a mom, as a sister, as a wife, as whatever roles that you have. You're telling yourself stories about that constantly of how you're showing up. And then you're acting in accordance, right? Because our thoughts drive our behaviors and our actions. And we know that. But we don't sometimes slow down for just a second to take inventory on it, right? What are the questions that I'm asking myself, right? Because when you catch yourself doubting yourself and doing one of those spirals, just make sure that you're not collecting more evidence on the way down. Don't find the other people in your ecosystem here that are also struggling when you're struggling. Find the people that you can say, girl, I want to get on your level. How can I support you? Let's collab. Find people that you can connect with that can lift you up. Don't spiral downwards together and then create this pity party and just like dance around there. That's not going to serve you. I'm not saying don't have an ugly cry on your bathroom floor. I love an ugly cry on my bathroom floor. I love it. I do. I really do. But with parameters, don't spiral down. Look for evidence to support it to be true. Find all the other people that are going to get on your team and say that this is so hard and blah, 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 and then expect that you're going to feel good at the end, right? Challenge yourself to curate an environment in your head that's going to serve you, an environment around you that's going to serve you too. Okay. And from that, I want to close on this. It's a really important topic that I think about on a daily basis. And I do talk about this on the podcast sometimes and on social media. But this concept of future you, where I like to toggle between me a year ago and me in 1 year. And I actually have a relationship. This is going to sound weird, but give me a second to explain this. I have a relationship with a version of me 1 year ahead from me. And I have a relationship with 1 year behind me. And what I mean by that is 1 year behind me, I think of all of the things that she didn't think that she was capable of that I literally have worked through. And you can do that for yourself too. Things in the last year has been like the last year and a half, like what is going on in our world? Like it's crazy. And think of all of the things that you've navigated through that a year ago version of you could have never, like, she's like, I don't know how to handle this. I have no idea how I'm going to get through this. And here you are on the other side, better because of it. Right? And when things get hard or tough and you're just like you're just doubting yourself, I want you to challenge yourself to think about that future version of you in 1 year, right? What gifts are you giving her if you keep showing up? What options, what confidence, what body, what health, what relationships, what opportunities, what type of fulfillment are you gifting a version of you 1 year from now if you choose to actually keep showing up, right? And I like to think about this. So I'm not a parent, like I mentioned, but I like to think about not just this 1 year ago version of me and the 1 year ahead, but I think about the version of me in a couple of years, right? So we're getting married in April of 2022, finally, after 13 years together. And like, we're like, okay, so like, when do we want to start a family? You know, we're having those conversations. Okay. I have this conversation in my head with my hypothetical future daughter. If I have twin boys or something, we'll just pretend like I said son. Okay. We're just going to pretend, like, don't tell them. Okay. I think about the fact that I know as a parent that I'm going to tell my daughter or my sons or my son, whatever, right? I'm going to tell them that they can do absolutely anything that they want to do. I know I'm going to be that kind of mom. I know so many of you guys are those types of moms, right? And when I tell them that, they're going to hear me, but we don't remember what people say often. We remember the way that they made us feel, and we remember the example that they set. So when I say to her, you can do anything that you want to do in this world, I want her to be able to look back at me and say, I know I can, Mom. I watched you. Not you told me, not you said I could do anything. I freaking watched you. I want her to have her own mom as living, breathing proof, a testimony of what's possible for her too. I don't want to say like, oh, well, like I threw in the towel on mine, but you should go get yours. No. I want her to be proud of me. I want her to see someone that like I'd be proud for her to look up to, someone that didn't give up when it got hard, someone that doubted herself and felt like she sucked and learned skills that then I could pass down and teach her. And for those of you that aren't motivated to be parents, that's totally cool too. Think about your nieces, think about people in your community, think about your friends, think about your coworkers that you can be an example to of a woman that just decides, I'm not okay with good. I want great. That's it. There's a lot of people that are living very mediocre lives right now, and that's fine if they're okay with it. But some of you guys are not okay with it. And you know that you're leaving some in the tank. You know that you've got more potential. You know that you need to make a decision in your life that's going to gain more alignment so you get more fulfilled. Maybe it's in your business. For a lot of you, it might be in your business. For some of you guys, you need to get back out there in the dating world. You need to leave that relationship that's not serving you. Right? Some of you need to move from that city. Some of you need to go see a freaking therapist, right? I think everybody should see a therapist. Therapy is so cool. But truly, right? Like some of you guys know that you've got a decision that you need to make and you're telling yourself these stories that you're not capable. And I would want to remind you, if you are gifted the vision, you are also gifted the resourcefulness. And in 2021, it is not. And in a community like this, with this like ridiculously amazing hype squad that uses tons of emojis and goes ham in the chat, and all of you guys that like viciously head nod, if you've ever spoke to a group of people, I love the head nodders. Like you guys are like, yeah, like I love you. I see you. I love you. Okay. But you have to remind yourself of that. You have to remind yourself that you need to keep showing up because you deserve it. Right? You're capable. Do not be the only thing standing in your way. If you need to make a decision to gain more alignment, if you need to get out of your own damn way, if you need to stop shoving down that potential that you have and say, yeah, I know that this is going to be uncomfortable. Welcome to the club, right? It's called growth. It's not going to feel good, but gosh, you're going to be proud on the other side, right? You're going to be so damn proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you. I love you guys so much. And I'm grateful. Thank you for having me. If you have any questions, I've got a few minutes. Let me know what questions you have. I love you guys.
Yes, girl, you have got me on fire. Like I'm ready to hop off here and take on the freaking world. Thank you so much for that. Seriously, we all appreciate it. If anybody has any questions for her or anything, go ahead and drop them in the chat really quickly before she hops off. We don't want to keep her too much longer, but I just want to touch on what she says. You guys, I know it was really hard coming out of a bonus season. And I know a lot of people have felt like they fell short, or they felt like they're a little bit discouraged, or maybe you guys are really tired, but I need you to understand that your worth, your purpose, your path, it's not attached to how much you haven't accomplished yet. It's not attached to a bonus or a rank, right? Where you're going, this path that you're on right now, where you are in right this minute, it's going to take you to that huge life of fulfillment, that huge life of abundance, but you're never going to get there if you quit. So I need you guys to just kick back that gear and remember who you are, why you started, and where you're going. And Kacia, we love you, girlfriend. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. If you haven't listened to the podcast, check out Empower Her podcast. If you ever do listen, tag me on Instagram so I can slide into your DMs, send you a voice message. You guys know, like I do that. I literally check all my DMs. I love to hear about who is vibing with the podcast, but thank you for having me. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Emma. Appreciate you guys.
Bye. Thanks.